the contest.
Indeed, that's what we're going to talk about now, because the four MPs hoping to lead the Labour Party will take part in their final hustings debate. It's coming up this morning.
Yeah, it follows a week of increasingly bitter exchanges about the progress made by the left-wing candidate, Jeremy Corbyn.
We're joined by Professor of Politics John Tong and two Labour activists, Josh Booth and Tom Jennings, who'll be attending today's debate in Warrington. If we can talk first to Josh and Tom, you're obviously younger participants in this debate. You are, what, 21?
21, yeah.
21 years old. So where do you stand and what do you make of what you're seeing of the four candidates?
Yeah. I think I'm backing Liz Kendall on the basis that I think we need to talk more about aspiration but also economic competence, and Liz Kendall is the candidate that is providing that voice in the party at the moment.
Yes, and she was asked this week to stand down.
Yeah, I mean, she's openly said she's not going to stand down, thankful, but, she's openly said that. I think what she's talking about, the economic competence, the fact that we need to be regaining votes in Middle England, is what needs to be talked about. We need a manifesto that is fit and relevant for 2015, not for 1983.
And Josh, you disagree? I can see your face there saying it all.
I'm backing Jeremy Corbyn all the way. As soon as he announced he was running, I was all up for it. I feel like he's offering something different to the other candidates. I feel like, obviously people keep comparing the other candidates to Tories. I don't think that's true. I still think that they have their hearts in the right place, whether they're doing it the right way or the wrong way. But I'd say that opposing austerity, opposing poverty, the things that the Tories have done to this country, and I love the people that I live with in Warrington and in the UK. And seeing their lives destroyed by austerity is tragic, and I can't support any government that will support that on any level.
John, we will come to you just a second. This is interesting, though, isn't it, Josh? So the argument around Jeremy Corbyn, of course, is that he appeals to a certain part of the Labour Party. You are one of those people, and anecdotally, people are saying a lot of younger people are attracted to the idealism of his message.
Yeah.
Do you think he can possibly win a general election?
I think he can. I think his policies aren't necessarily like extreme hard left policies. It's things that people constantly talk about, like rail nationalisation, that 44% of Tory voters would support anyway. So we talk about winning back Middle England. That's still one of the policies that they might say, hey, that interests me. But it's still 2% of swing voters or something like that. So, you can appeal to the millions of people who didn't vote at all, and the people who are generally left-wing but supported UKIP, who aren't right-wing inherently. They're just they're being offered something different, and I feel if we can offer them something different that isn't UKIP, then that's right.
So John, this is interesting because Josh is 18 years old, and here's someone who there's a politician there who is appealing to him, which is a lot of politicians don't appeal to that kind of demographic, do they?
Josh is many, many years younger than me, and Josh doesn't remember the civil wars that were there in the Labour Party when the Labour Party swung to the left in the 1980s. And that's the problem that Jeremy Corbyn has, that a lot of the party wouldn't follow him. In the 1980s, the SDP split from the Labour Party because they felt it had gone too left-wing. And the other problem that Jeremy Corbyn has is, would he be able to ask for loyalty from the Labour Party, given that he was the biggest single rebel against the Labour Party leadership when Labour was in office from 1997 to 2010. So I totally understand why Jeremy Corbyn would appeal in terms of some of his policies. He would make this argument, why be Tory light? We'll lose another election being Tory light. We need a radical left-wing Labour Party. But I don't think he'd be able to take a lot of the Labour Party with him. And there is a real risk of the Labour Party being split asunder. And that would mean the Labour Party out of office for a generation, notwithstanding the rights and wrongs of his argument.
It's pretty clear from seeing you both that, as each of you talk, the other one's shaking their head. Tom, are you worried? That highlights, doesn't it, how kind of separate the party is at the moment, how that you're not together, and it feels like there's a bit of panic within it.
Yeah, the hard left don't win elections. In the 21st century, we have to be principled, we have to be pragmatic as well. We have to be much more centrist. This whole idea that Liz Kendall is Tory light, I totally reject. Back in business, advocating for strong national defence, arguing that we need a good school in every single corner of this country, and having sound public finances, they are not Tory policies, they are not Tory principles. And if we continue to advocate that, then we're going to be out of power for a generation.
John, it's been fascinating. It's that phrase, be careful what you wish for. is an interesting one, isn't it? Because you've got senior Labour politicians who are all in favour of Jeremy Corbyn being in the mix because they thought, what a wonderful thing, get the dialogue going. And they've come out publicly and said, we wish we hadn't done that, which is an extraordinary situation, isn't it?
And they were described as morons by a former advisor to Tony Blair only the other evening. I mean, the Labour Party will have to look at its leadership rules in future. You've also got the situation where some people are paying £3, and you've got one Tory newspaper advising people to pay £3 to register as a Labour Party supporter because your vote will count exactly the same as a long-standing Labour Party member. So the rules have been too open in many ways. But at least you've had the right, the centre and the left arguing their cases. I'm surprised that either Josh nor Tom have advocated Yvette Cooper or Andy Burnham because the polls are still on the naughty step after the election, but they suggest that they're the only candidates who might be able to unite the Labour Party and appeal to the country more broadly. And I think that's the two elements of the equation that you have to have here.
Well, listen, I'm sorry, our time is up for now. I'm sure there are young people of your generation, of your age group, who do support those people. Thank you. Very interesting to talk to you this morning.
Will you stay friends? That's what I want to know.
Absolutely, absolutely. Josh is a great...